All right, so it's just a day before students start to go back to school. It has been really an interesting last 1 month, the release of the KCPE and the KCSE examinations. Very many shocking details have emerged in regards to the examinations, and we want to have a conversation about that. Joining me in studio right now is Andiwa Obondo. He is an education expert. Thank you so much for joining us live in studio.
Thank you, Betty.
All right, so I want us to start by taking a look at some numbers, the numbers that have gotten the whole nation talking. I don't know what your reaction is in regards to the release of this year's examinations.
Yeah. I think looking at the numbers, comparing the numbers to what we've had in the last, I would even say 10 years, it was like a wake-up call for Kenya.
Right.
Because we seem to have been either lying to ourselves
for a long time.
For a long time.
Yes.
People like, I think it was even so painful to hear the minister say yesterday that between first term and second term,
right,
teachers go to NEC to buy exams that we usually set a year or two earlier.
Wow.
And then they begin to teach exams from May to an extent that they don't focus on the curriculum that we want them to deliver. They focus on the exams. And then after the results are released, I think that is why the minister chose to surprise everybody.
Yes.
Because there was some kind of a period when officials in NEC and the head teachers would negotiate. And if you are able to make some payments,
right,
you'll be given a little much more grades. So I think to me this year is a good year for Kenya.
And the thing is, there are parents, many of them who actually feel shortchanged because of the grades that we have been seeing over the years.
Yeah.
But from your point of view as an education expert, did you ever trust those results that, you'd have so many A's? A school like Alliance High School, 207, from 207 to just 14. Did you ever question these results before?
We've questioned this for the last, I think, largely the last 10 years, but more intensely. Education experts and professionals in Kenya have questioned our exam system and the way we award grades.
Right.
In the last 5 years. We've been questioning, and we even asked ministers that came before Matiang'i that something is wrong, we need to review our assessment system and even how we grade.
Right.
But I think the problem was that before Matiang'i, nobody was listening to expert opinion. Nobody was reviewing and willing to implement proposals that have come from even heads associations. Even the heads associations have raised issues around the kind of grades that we get. Because it is not normal that in a class of 300, 200 will have A's.
Will have A's.
It doesn't know. Anybody knows that when you look at how assessments are done, that does not appear to be normal. We've questioned this, but I think because of the powerful nature of the cartels, nobody wanted to listen. And since it was a big business for some people in the ministry, some people in the NEC, and the power brokers out there with the heads, but they wanted to protect that turf so that they keep on gaining from this fraudulent activity.
Matiang'i has been really lauded for this move to secure examinations, quite literally.
Yes.
Do you think he's broken these cartels, or is it going to take some more efforts from him as the CS?
No, they will actually...
Will they fight back?
They will fight back. I know they are fighting back. You remember, we said this, and some parents did not believe, that even banning of schools had something to do with exams, a lot to do with exams. Because now that is their way of fighting Matiang'i, and they thought that by doing so, the president or the government would say he has failed.
Yes.
So I know they will try to fight back, because even from the reports that we get, the moment they realize they cannot sell exams now, they were now waiting to take control of the marking centers. And the moment Matiang'i decided that they be centralized and they put very tight control, they lost access to marking centers.
Completely.
And now they are waiting for this window that before they release the exams, there will be a period where they can be able to get access to some officials and begin to negotiate and lobby for access.
Negotiate and lobby.
And lobby so that they can be able to make payments and get good grades.
Interesting description there. So let's take a look at some numbers here. And does it shock you? Students who scored D- in 2016, 149, about 150,000 students who scored this mark. And even going forward, we'll see that there is, I think, 33,000
with E.
There you go, 33,399 students who scored an E in 2016.
Yeah.
These numbers, where do these students then go to?
I think if we organize ourselves very well, we can still be able to get some training opportunities for them.
Okay.
If you look at the way the training, what we call TVET, technical, industrial, vocational education training, we can be able to offer artisan opportunities for these Kenyans children who have an E, because we don't need to condemn them. I think if you look at what has been happening, they are victims of circumstances. We were not teaching everybody in the class, so that they can be able to, one, acquire skills that we need, acquire the right attitudes. We were focusing on those who are going to get good grades, A's and B's. And I think that is why most of them, they may have their own problems, but I think they are victims of the system.
Does it mean, you know, like how you go to a certain school and there are, say, 3 streams, and then you find that the first class, like say there's 8 East, 8 West, and 8 North, then you find that 8 East and 8 West have the bright ones and the moderate ones, and then now the last one has the people who probably would fall under that category. Do you think that's the reason why we're having these numbers, that teachers did not really concentrate on these students and concentrated on you know, the ones who looked like they were promising?
I think so. I think that has been that is what has been happening, Betty, for a long time. That schools and teachers concentrate on those who can be able to help them get the best mean.
Right.
And you are right that even when we stream up our schools, we usually get the best in maybe Form 4A, the average in Form 4B, and those who are struggling in Form 4C. And in most cases, teachers would concentrate on those who are in A and B. To an extent that sometimes you realize that if they are pressed for time, they would focus on...
If they're pressed for time.
Which means they cannot be able to give adequate attention to all the 3 streams. They would focus on the best. Because I think what used to matter, which I believe we are now trying to dismantle, what used to matter for teachers is get those who can be able to get the best go up to raise the standards of school. So I think what I wanted to say about this is that we have village polytechnics. My hope is that the ministry will be able to look for these Kenyan children wherever they are, because you know, sometimes because of stigma, they may not even think that they have an opportunity for further training. We can be able to look for them where they are, through their schools, through their parents, through the government systems, to tell them, yes, look here, we have village polytechnics that can be able to help you train, so that they start from artisan. And from artisan, they can be able to go to certificate courses, they can go to diploma courses, and later they can acquire degrees. It will take a little longer, but at least they have an opportunity to excel in life through education. But
the other question is 183,000. First of all, do we have enough of these institutions? And are they well equipped? Because it always feels like it's a by the way. From if you're not qualified for university, these other institutions just feel like they're just there to just take care of the few who did not get it. But we're talking about 183,000 students. Will they be able to fit into these institutions which are currently there?
I think that is what we need to assess, because at the moment I'm not able to say the capacity of the colleges, but I believe there's been some emphasis in the last 3 or so years on technical education and technical colleges. And I know we have national polytechnics that can be able to absorb maybe those with C and possibly C minus. And then we have technical training institutes that I believe can be able to absorb those with D plus and probably D minus. And then now the village polytechnics should be able to have the D minus and E's. What I know should happen is that we have both the ministry department that is in charge of technical education, and we also have TVETA, the authority that now coordinates and oversees development in TVET. I'm happy that at least a week ago or a few days ago, the TVET director came out and said they have space and they think they can accommodate. Because at the moment, we have over 100 new institutes coming up. I'm not sure at what time they will be ready. But before that, we have old institutes. What we need to do is just do a capacity audit and see how many can we absorb. And then try moving forward. We also need to do some kind of sensitization. Because for a long time, people believe that for you to succeed, you can only go to the university. And I think that is where we missed the point. The moment we overemphasized university education, against technical training, then we were producing what I would say high-level thinkers without the technical people to support the programs that they want to run.
All right.
But if we're able to change that thinking and say, let us train a few people at the university level, but majority should be people with hands-on skills that can be able to run the economy, we'll be better off than having graduates who have ideas,
but no people to support them.
No practical skills to put those ideas into practice.
All right, so let's now go back to the kind of environment that students are going to starting tomorrow.
Okay.
I mean, we were speaking about, you know, like a school like Alliance dropping about 193 slots down from 207 to just 14. I mean, what environment are these students, especially for those, you know, quote unquote, high-performing schools in the recent years? What environment are they going back to school in?
I think it is like what we've seen today or this year, both from KCP and KCSE.
You mean 2016?
Yeah. Or last year.
Last year,
we have crossed.
Yeah.
What we saw last year is like a reality check. We've been cheating ourselves. We've been lying, celebrating fraudulent A's. And I think now this is the time that school boards and teachers, now that there's no room to buy exams, there's no room to go and buy A's, they should be able to appreciate this is now where we are starting.
Yes.
To me, they should be able to use the current results as their benchmark. This is the baseline.
It's the best time.
Yeah, this is the best time. Now, what programs can they be able to implement to say, without thinking of either buying A's or buying exams, how can they now move progressively to improve those grades moving forward in a genuine way.
Andiwa, you said that, you know, these cartels fought Matiang'i back in, you know, in 2016. Do you think they'll continue to fight back in regards to examinations, or right now it's over? Like right now, moving forward as a country, we will say that we've gotten to the bottom of this whole issue, and now we can move on. Even if Matiang'i is not there today, we'll still have the, you know, we don't have the fraudulent A's like you described them as.
No, it's a good start, but the battle is not won. But because I know in any battle, people will not just lose and sit back and say, we have lost this battle. They will find ways of undermining the system to create loopholes to get back to, because it was big business for people in NEC, some people in the ministry, the head teachers, and the power brokers between them. So nobody will sit back and say, if some of them were getting millions of money from that fraud. Do
we know how much this, you know, an A would cost, or costed back in the day, 2016? How much it would cost?
We've had rumors. I'm not sure. We've had rumors that schools used to pay up to 10 million
for
the certain number of either for leakage, but also for moderation or improvement of grades.
All right.
Yeah, but
10 million shillings.
Even parents, we've had rumors that there's no report as professionals that we can say this is what they used to pay, but there are cases where parents, because this involved also parents, there were parents that had direct access to the fraudsters in NEC, and some parents were saying they could pay anything between 20,000 to 200,000.
Wow, for an A.
Yeah, for an A grade. So you see, if you look at that, anything between 20 to 200, and you're talking of millions of Kenyans, it could have been.
It's actually big business.
Big business, and that is why they'll try to fight. But I think what I like about what Matiang'i is doing, Matiang'i is basically implementing proposals that have come from professional task forces, from professional associations, and now what needs to happen is we need to look at if the NEC Act and the Education Act, if there's any way we could be able to anchor whatever is not anchored into law and make it a policy so that whether we have Professor Magoha in NEC or whether we have Dr. Matiang'i in the ministry or not, we must maintain as Kenyans that this sanity should not be eroded again.
Okay, let's talk about this being an impetus for, you know, the focus on talent and skills previously. And so it's a concern that as education experts, you know, you've always had that, you know, our system concentrates on the good grades, and that's why there's a rush. You know, a parent would pay 200,000 for a good grade. Do you think that this is going to be a start to us focusing now on skills, on talents of our students instead of the grades?
Yeah, I think this is coming at a time, Betty, when already we have had national discussions around curriculum reforms. And the focus of these reforms, which has been going on, the discussion has been going since 2012. And I think the focus, Kenya having realized that we have had too much focus on academics, to an extent that anybody who does not produce an A, even within family levels, is considered a disappointment or a failure.
Yes.
And therefore, we have no ways of, if you can't get the grades that takes you, for instance, takes you to university, we don't even discuss other options. But I think I'm happy that currently, led by the ministry through KCSE, we are discussing a reforms program that can be able to give us options. And I think they're talking about pathways. You can be able to do academics if you are talented to do so. You can be able to do arts and sports if you are talented to do so. You can be able to do, you can be taken to talent academies, and you can also be able to do technical and vocational training way back from high school. And I think that will be the best program for Kenya, so that as soon as you enter secondary education, we begin to look at you as teachers to see what is it that we think you are good at. Apart from, even if you could be good in maths, but beyond maths or English or the subject matter, what else are you good at? You could have leadership skills, you could have some sports qualities, you could be able to have some artistic capabilities. If we assess that, and I think by Form 2, we should be able to begin to have discussions with you as a student in terms of what are possible directions that would be able to lead you to a career that can help you exploit some of those talents that we have identified. So I believe, as the minister is saying, that we can be able to begin to work on this program, this new program, this year. Yeah, so that if that happens, it means that parents will begin to appreciate we don't have to insist on an A if Betty or Andiwa cannot be able to get an A in mathematics, but it could be able to look what else? What other abilities do they have, and therefore we can be able to guide you, teachers having discussions with parents, guide you into alternatives that will lead you to successful careers in other fields.
All right. Thank you so much, Andiwa Obondo, for that interesting conversation. And therefore, I mean, the premise of it is that if you don't get an A, that's not the end of life. All right. Thank you so much. Andiwa Obondo is an education expert.